There are no refs in this game. F the rules. We are going to win whatever it takes. We're going to take this to them in every way that we can. Next time we win power, we're going to drive that car like we stole it. We're going to legalize every dreamer's parents, every hardworking American doing backbreaking work that makes this country so great in the first place, even greater as U.S. citizens.
What is with the cussing? And I realize we beeped it all out there, but you can use your imagination on what he said. The cussing now from Democrats all the time. Joining me now, you know what, I'm asking Buck about that. Joining me now, host, of course, of the Clay and Buck Show. Everybody knows him, my friend Buck Sexton. Buck, there are a lot of theories that are getting tossed around. We'll get to the redistricting stuff in a minute. About the cussing Democrats do now. It's always F this and F that and F this and F that. Whereas, I mean, for most of our lives, buddy, we never heard either party say this. Why?
It's because people have started to do the math and look at the science, I think, Jesse, and understand that there's a clear correlation between low age-adjusted testosterone in Democrat men and being left-wing. So this is a compensation. It's absolutely true, by the way. If you are a low T beta male, the chance that you are very left-wing in your politics is incredibly high. And I think that they believe that by cursing, it makes them look tough, makes them look like they've got, but really what it makes them look like is the kid who's got like the beginnings of a mustache in junior year of high school, who's like desperate to buy beer, who's like, yeah, like, look at my mustache. Like, you can trust me. You don't need my ID. That's the pathetic level that Democrats have sung to here. And Beto O'Rourke, by the way, has this guy ever had a real job? I mean, I really asked that. He married a rich lady, by the way. I don't think he's ever had a real job. I promise you he's never been in any kind of actual fistfight or altercation, but he gets up there and does this fake tough guy wannabe Texan act. And it's sad. He's a little trust fund brat, or at least someone else's trust fund that he gets to attach himself to. And I hope he runs on the open borders message. I hope he runs on telling Americans, you know what we need? 10 million more dependents, 10 million more people scamming the system. Don't you love crowded ERs and schools where English as a second language is more popular than actually teaching English? Yeah, that's great. Run with that.
I'm actually glad you brought this up. I find this fascinating because there's always been an element of when you're running in a primary, Republican or Democrat, you're going to have to say some things or take some positions that may turn off kind of the normie morons who vote one way or the other. But there's that normal thing, and then there's what Democrats have now where you have to take the 20% side of every single 80-20 issue or you can't gain popularity in the party. But all the normies out there are never going to vote for that. And Chuck Schumer's had to move way to the left. Not that he wasn't always a lefty, way to the left just to avoid getting primaried by AOC. To be a Democrat today, you have to take insane positions. That means you can't get elected. How do they get out of that minefield?
I'm actually surprised that they haven't had that moment yet where they start to change course here, or start to maybe cut away the anchors that are pulling them down to the ocean floor, because that's exactly what's going on, especially with things like, okay, yeah, you can keep telling us that that a 200-pound guy who now has grown his hair out long and painted his fingernails doesn't have an advantage over Susie, Sally, and Sarah on the high school lacrosse team, but we're sick of being lied to. Like, it doesn't matter how often you repeat this. We can all see that you're out of your minds, Democrats. And I think the issue is that they've used these so effectively as mobilization tools for so long. And they also, I think, got overconfident between COVID and the dominance they had with the social media platforms all colluding with them, where they thought they could ram delusion into our brains across the country. And now they're dealing with the backlash from that, which is, it turns out, half the country does not want to act like they're truly insane. Maybe a little more than half the country. And that's a problem for the Democrats. And I think it's probably more like a 70, or as you said, to 20%, so an 80-20 issue. I don't know how they walk away from this, though, because the activist class and the donor class for the Democrats are the craziest now. That's what people have to understand. The lifestyle issues that the billionaires like the Reid Hoffmans of the world are willing to fund have nothing to do with like the old Democrat Party of unions and blue collar labor or whatever. No, it's all race communism and gender insanity funded by billionaires who have never even gotten calluses on their hands from doing anything. I mean, this is the Democrat Party of today.
Yeah, I'm blown away at how they overcome that, because it's the donors, like you just pointed out. It's not just the rabid street animals with the purple hair on the streets that are gluing themselves to the highway. The people who fund the Democrat Party demand they take insane positions that can't make them win. I just saw a poll recently, I forget what it was, but they were talking about Democrat donors, and they essentially said, these Democrats, that our donors, the billionaires, want us to fight Trump harder. That was the position they take. The billionaire donors are not telling Democrats to slow down, Jasmine Crockett, take off your eyelashes. They're not saying these things. They're telling you, no, double down, triple down, so they're just screwed?
Well, the point of being a billionaire leftist is that you get to chinwag among your social set, which is going to be basically other, let's just be honest, tech billionaires or inherited money billionaires. You're going to be able to tell them about how virtuous you are and what a badass you are by writing these checks. I mean, you look at somebody like, try to get in the mindset of now Alex Soros. It was George Soros before, or George Schwartz, I believe was his original name. He changed his name to Soros. Try to get in the mind of some of these individuals. Like, what does this guy Alex Soros think he's doing? He is funding things that make him feel important and brave, or at least important and tough, because he's a radical. There's nothing radical about this guy. He's been flying private his entire life. He's never done a hard day's work in his life. He's never had to worry about paying a bill in his life, but he wants to cosplay as some kind of revolutionary. And by writing checks to the street communists, as you point out, he's able to do that. And he's able to act like he somehow has worth beyond the dollars in the bank account that he didn't earn. Now you just extrapolate that out for the entire Democrat donor class, and you see what their politics really are. It's a politics of showiness. It's a politics of self-importance dressed up as concern for other people. Because if you're concerned for other people, you certainly wouldn't be funding like Soros DAs who turn every city into a hellscape where everyone's being preyed upon by barbarians all the time. But that's what they do.
I almost forgot Soros and that beard he married, Uma, whatever her stupid name is. All right, Buck, are we gonna do okay in the midterms? I feel like with the redistricting stuff, which I know is not going to go into effect by then, but with the deportations, and I feel like we might do okay. But you and I've had this talk before.
Yeah, I know. I'm not, Clay's the optimistic one. He's the happy one. I'm the bitter one. So I'm the one who's always like, I think we're screwed. He loves sports. Clay is like he's the golden retriever, and I'm a little more like the angry bloodhound who's in the backyard, doesn't want to be bothered. I would just say this. I would say I think that we're going to keep the Senate, which is obviously very helpful, very good for judges and getting people through. Although that judicial machinery needs to work a lot more smoothly than it has been. I also think that we're going to be in pretty good shape to hold the House. Actually, and this is what I've been telling everybody. This stuff happens so quickly, as you know, Jesse. Trump has 18 months, and look, he's moving at an incredible pace. I have no complaints about the issues that they're focusing on, the speed with which they're focusing on it. I had tons of complaints in the first Trump administration, but they had a clown show making a lot of the decisions under Trump, so that wasn't really a surprise. It was just a lot of screw ups. You had to fire a lot of people. This time around, though, they are locked in, but they only have 18 months, maybe less, to do big things, because then it just turns into a midterm fight. And the only thing Democrats will exist to do if they take the House is be as not just obstructive, because, fine, both parties want to stop the other party, as insane as possible. Whatever a Democrat majority House can do to be as crazy as possible is what they will do. So I view it as really existential for the Trump agenda to maintain the House and the Senate. I think they can, though, I'd go as far as to say I think they will, Jesse. I actually think they will, which is unlikely in an off-year election. But look at how sunny my disposition is today. Shocking, your viewers. Shocking.
How about that? How about that? Now I'm in a good mood. Thanks, Buck. Appreciate you, brother. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.